So for the session today, our agenda is to continue the discussion on chemical equilibrium. Okay. So last time we were able to give you an introduction on what is a chemical equilibrium. Basically, it is a state of a system wherein it tries to balance the rate of the formation of products and reactants na. So yan. So it's the state of a system wherein the rate of forward and reverse reactions are equal. Okay. So yan. Is it always equal? Not really. Okay. So yan. And typically, chemical equilibria are expressed in equilibrium constant. Okay, so it is best described by equilibrium constant, where the concentration of products are divided by the concentration of the reactant. And you know na depending on the K value, asan yung K? So depending on the K value, it has different interpretation, right? So kunwari, if K is equal 1, meaning that everything is in complete equilibrium na. Nakabalance talaga siya. But if K is greater than 1, okay, so the quotient will be greater than 1 if the product side is too much, okay? Okay, so meaning favored yung product side. And then if K is less than 1, that means favored yung reactant side, okay? So yan, so kapag K is greater than 1, maraming product kaysa sa reactant. Pero if K is less than 1, mas marami yung reactant kaysa sa product. Okay? So, yan. And for each equilibrium system, they have an equilibrium constant na. So, you don't really have to worry about it. Na? And we actually posted the equilibrium constants na, dito sa ating Canvas module. Okay? Ayan, saan yung equilibrium constant? Nasa lab ata. Anyway, kakopy ko rin dito yung equilibrium constant. Okay? So, yun, nasa lab. Kakopy ko na lang. Okay? So, in the module sa lab, andun yung mga equilibrium constants din. Okay? So, the reason kaya nandito siya is hindi nga pala natin siya gagamitin. Okay? So, anyway, oopsie. I just click the download file na lang. Ayan. So, you can see for each chemical systems, meron siyang corresponding K value. Okay? And just keep in mind yung interpretation ng K value. If that's less than 1, that means the reactant side is favored. And if it is greater than 1, the product side is more favored. Okay? So, yan. Hindi kinakabisado yan because this is a table in which we just check kung ano yung value. And as you can see, most of the compounds here in this table are having less than 1 value, no? Okay, so yan. So, karamihan, puro less than 1 talaga. Okay, and then we also learned last time that there are two types of K, equilibrium constant. We have the Kc and the Kp. Okay, for gases, we have Ke and Kc, and for aqueous systems, we just have Kc. Okay, so yan yung mga proper way of writing, ginawa natin last time, and then the basic calculations and the operations na. Okay, so depending on what coefficient you multiply your equation with, may corresponding effect siya sa K value mo. Okay, now let's proceed with the next thing. No? So if K is an equilibrium constant, we have this letter Q, okay, which is called the reaction quotient. So what is the reaction quotient and what is K? So K is the equilibrium constant, meaning kapag lahat nag-balance na, yun na yung value niya, okay? So pag-balance na lahat, yun na yung value niya. And now, what is K? What is Q? Yung Q is a reaction quotient. Basically, it's just a version of K. However, the concentrations of your substances are in the initial state. Okay? So, kumbaga, parang yung Q yung initial, yung K yung final. Okay? So, that's why I represented the Q here with letter I subscripts. No? So, meaning these are their initial concentration. Okay? So, that's their initial concentrations, and this is the final state. No? So, the initial state and the final state. Okay? And depending on the value of Q relative to K, pwede mo malaman kung which direction the reaction is going. Kasi remember, this is a two-way direction, di ba? So, saan mo malalaman where are you going, no? So, it's either to the right or to the left, di ba? Kasi dalawang direction meron ka eh. So, in order for you to know which direction you will proceed, there are two parameters that you have to know, the Q and the K, no? So, yan. So, the K is the final state. Ito yung pupuntahan. Yung Q, ito yung initial state niya, kung nasan siya. Okay? So, yung K, ibibigay na yan. No? Hindi naman pwede yung pareha sila ipapasolve sa inyo. Grabe na yun. Baka isipin nyo, dami naman isa-solve. Hindi. This time, kapag binigyan kayo ng initial concentration, usually the K will be given. No? Okay. So, yung Q na lang hahanapin nyo. So again, K and Q are very similar with one another except that for the Q, the reaction quotient, the concentrations must be initial. Ito yung ihahalo mo pa lang sila. Tapos kapag naghalo na sila, you have your K value. Pero bago mo sila ihalo, you have your Q value. Okay? And depending on the value of Q and K, you can tell where the reaction is going. Okay? Remember that the equilibrium arrow is dalawang arrow yan eh. You have there to the right, to the left. Okay? If your Q is less than K, we can imagine this as a number line wherein the blue dot, okay, yung middle dot, ito yung K, no? Yung blue dot, yun yung K. Ito yung gusto natin mapuntahan. Okay? Sabi nga natin, final state eh. Di ba? So, this is where we should go, the blue circle. If your Q is less than K, meaning that you are somewhere here in the number line. Okay? You are in the left of the K. Since you want to go to K, meaning your direction must go to the right side, meaning the direction of the reaction must be towards the product side. Okay? So again, ano uli nangyari? Yung K gusto natin puntahan. Okay? And your Q is your initial state na. So since Q is less than K, ibig sabihin, in a number line, you are on the left of K. No? Number line yan ha. So kapag mas maliit yung Q mo kaysa K, nasa left siya. And you wanna go to K, meaning the direction of the reaction is where? To the right, no? Kasi if you go to the right, you will meet K. Now, if Q is equal to K, then walang direction yung reaction. No? Nasa balance na siya. While if your Q is greater than K, okay, in the number line, if your Q is greater than K, meaning this is your Q, and this is the K. You wanna go to K, diba? So, in this sense, no, kapag greater than K siya, you have to go to the left, okay? Meaning you favor the reactant side, no? Okay? And your equilibrium arrow will look like this, no? Okay? So, something like this. Okay? Kapag towards the product side, it will look like this. Okay? So, you favor the right side more. Okay? So, to further illustrate you, we have two problems here. Okay? Dalawa lang kasi sa next chapter, sa laboratory ninyo, dun nyo talaga i-discuss siya ng matindi. Okay? So, let's cover it. So, sabi dito, at the end of the reaction, at the start of the reaction, start pala, there are 0.351 mole of nitrogen gas, 3.67 times 10 raised to negative 2 mole of hydrogen gas, And 7.51 times 10 raised to negative 4 mole of ammonia in a 3.75 liter reaction vessel at 375 degrees Celsius. Ayun yung start ha, those are their concentration. And kapag nag-start yan, pag minix mo sila, so depending on the Q value, pwede mo malaman kung to the right or to the left yung reaction. Okay? So if the if the equilibrium constant is 1.2, predict the direction of the reaction or the net reaction. Is it going to the right side? Is it going to the left side? Or is it already balanced? Okay? So bali ang ganap, so suppose this is your 3.75 liter vessel, naglagay ka ng gases. Now, you will tell me kung ano yung ginawa nila. Are they going to the right or are they going to the left? Okay? So, which of the sides of the reaction will be more favored, no? So, syempre maghahalo yung gases mo. So, ngayon, ano yung mas marami? Is it the product or the left side? Okay? So, for us to know the direction of the reaction, we need to solve first for the reaction quotient. Okay? The equilibrium constant is already given, so wala na tayong problem with that. Given na siya. Okay, so ngayon, gawin natin yung reaction quotient. Ito, we have a question pala, sorry. So, hindi po siya yung amount ng reactants and products of the solution. Yeah. It is the reaction quotient. Para siyang K value din. Okay, pero initial. Hindi siya yung specific amounts talaga. No? Para siyang K din. Yun yung ratio nila. So, yan. Let me know if yun yung point. Okay. Sige. So, para siyang K din, no? It is the ratio, not really the amount, no? Kasi yung pag-solve ng amount mamaya pa yun. May algebra yun eh. Ayun, algebra na naman. Okay. So, malala yung algebra doon na. So, saka na yan. Okay? Para malaman mo yung actual concentration when you reach equilibrium. This time, alamin lang natin where the reaction is going. Is it to the left, to the right? Okay? Because by predicting the direction of reaction, mas madali mo malalaman yung equilibrium concentration. Okay? So again, our task here in this problem is to see where the reaction is going. So we are not going to solve for the equilibrium amounts. Alamin lang natin saan sila papunta. Okay? Yan. So, ano gagawin ko? You are given an equation. So, the first thing that you are going to do is to write the Q. Okay? Kasi given na yung K may value na siya. So, 1.2. Di Q na lang kasi yun yung hinahanap eh. Tandaan nyo, pag sinabi direction, Q yung is-solve mo. Okay? So, kapag direction of reaction, Q yun. So, given the equation here, I can write the Q as masyadong malaki. Okay, so the amount of product then squared and then yung reactant nasa baba. By the way, lagyan nyo ng I sa baba, so that hindi kayo malito kung K siya or ano. And lagyan nyo ng I. I states it is initial na. Okay, yung initial amount niya. Kasi baka mamaya maisip nyo equilibrium yan eh. Okay, just to distinguish the Q and the K. So again, same lang yung equation ha. Except this time, their amounts must be it must be the initial. Yan, so NH3 initial squared, N2 initial, H2 initial, then Q. Okay. Ngayon, how will we solve for their concentration? Again, when I write square bracket, that's always molarity. Can I solve for the molarity? And how? Sige. Tulungan niyo ako. Pwede ko ba masolve yung molarity from the given and paano kaya gagawin ko? Okay. Pwede ba masolve at paano? Let me know. Tignan maigi yung given. Meron ng concentration sa given. Ano na lang gagawin natin? Should I plug in 0.351 agad? Ayun, so correct. No? So you should divide the moles by the volume of the vessel. Okay? Baka kasi gawin nyo, ay, ito, plug in ko na tong 351. You should not, no? Kasi the unit is mole. Okay? So mole kasi nakalagay, dapat molarity. Always remember, if yan ay concentration, it must always be molarity. Okay? Mag-ingat ha. Kasi may mga ganun kaming, ano yun, tawag doon, may mga ganun kaming pakulo sa buhay. Trip lang. So that you will be really very careful. Sir, para saan po yung temperature? Remember, yung ating K, nagbabago-bago yung value niya, di ba? Depending on the temperature. So, kailangan mo talaga isama yung temperature when you are going to state an equilibrium constant. Okay? So, ano yung logic natin dito? Ba't kailangan yung temp na? Kasi, for example, yung K ng pagkapanis ng food ay mababa kapag malamig. Pero kapag mainit, yung K value mo mataas. Okay? So, ganun. Ibig sabihin, mas mabilis mapanis yung food kapag mainit, mas mabagal siya mapanis kapag malamig. Okay? So, ganun din dito sa equilibrium constant, no? So, whenever you are stating the K value, you must indicate the temperature. So, it is not necessary sa equation naman. Okay? Wala tayong gagawin sa kanya sa equation. Kailangan lang talaga siya isama when stating the K value. Okay, so yun lang. Now, again, so just be careful no when plugging in the values. Baka isipin nyo kasi, ito po 0.351 na yan squared. Mali yan, okay? So that's wrong. So you have to be very careful. Since this is concentration, that means the unit must be in molarity before you even plug it in. Okay? So, madali na lang siya, no? Lucky for us, mole and liters na yung given. So, walang conversion, just simply divide them. Ako, I highly suggest, no, na ganito nyo gawin yung solution nyo. Since you are just going to divide this by this, ilagay mo na siya mismo sa fraction mo. Okay? Ipakita mo na siya mismo. Okay? Now, for example, for N2, ammonia. Ammonia. Ano ba yung amount ng ammonia? Ito yung amount ng ammonia, 7.51 times 10 raised to negative 4 mole. Divide mo na siya dyan. So, wag nyo na isa-isahin na. So, ilagay mo na lang yung numbers sa mismong fraction. So that mamaya kapag tinype mo na siya sa calculator, sabay-sabay na sila masosolve. Okay? So, I highly suggest you to do this na so that you can minimize yung rounding off na. Kasi pag nag-round off tayo, baka mamaya medyo malayo na yung makuha natin sagot. Okay? So, the mole should be on the top and then the volume should be at the bottom. Okay? Di ba? Mole per liter. Di ba? So, mole divided by the volume. So, for the ammonia, the value of the concentration initial is 7.51 times 10 raised to negative 4 divided by 3.75. So, igaganyan ko na ha. Bakit? Para isahang pindot na lang sa calculator. Sayang kasi kapag masyado tayong nag-effort. By the way, I think some of you are getting their school ID sa FEU, no? So kung pupunta kayo ng ng FEU, edi sana all. Nakakamiss din kasi FEU, to be honest. Ayun. Kung papunta kayong FEU today, no, you can skip the class na lang. Okay. And then, just watch the video after. Popost ko naman siya agad. N2. Ito yung N2. So, 0.351. Okay. And then, sa baba, 3.75. Wala siyang exponent. Edi sige. And then, ano pa? Yung H2. So, ito na yung concentration ng H2. Edi divide ko na lang sa 3.75. Okay? Medyo binabagalan ko, ha? Yan. Puyat ako eh. By the way, yun sa laboratory nyo, may video na yun, ha? Kanina ko lang natapos madaling araw, kaya inaantok ako sobra. Inaantok pero nagsasolve na. May demonstration na ako ng kung paano gagawin yung experiment 3. Kasi baka mamaya kung ano magawa nyo sa lab eh. Okay? Ayan. So, since you're solving for the Q, edi plug in mo lahat yan sa CalQ. Okay? Diba? Nagra-rhyme. Solve mo sa Q, plug in mo lahat sa CalQ. Okay. Yan. Ano nang gagawin natin? Edi, type in na lang, no? So, let me just open this panel para alam nyo pipindutin. Sabayan nyo ako pumindot, ha? Okay. So, in the numerator, I'll create parenthesis, then fraction. So, that will be 7.51 times 10 raised to negative 4. So again, when dealing with an exponential, you press this na lang, ha? Yun, times 10 raised to x. Okay, because if you press that, all you need to write after is just the exponent. Okay? And so 7.51 times 10 raised to negative 4 divided by 3.75. Oopsie. And then close parenthesis, square. Nasolve na ni Kyla. Sige, wait lang. Ang key pala dito is kailangan pabilisan kayo mag-solve talaga, no? Kaya dati nung college ako, tas ganito topic namin, wala kang maririnig kapag exam bukod sa tumutunog na calcu, pati mga nagkokopyahan. Ganun ka, hindi kasi ito eh. As in, lahat ng tunog ng calcu na pwede mangyari, may maririnig mo. Yung iba, nagbabagsakan yung calcu. Siguro parang pagkahulog, tas biglang bubulong, letter C. Ganun. Mga para-paraan talaga yun. Okay. So, yan. Okay. So, ito again, this is the numerator. Laki-laki ng equation na to. So, in the numerator, you have your 7.51 times 10 raised to negative 4 divided by 3.75 squared. And then in the denominator, you have 0.351 divided by 375 times 3.67 times 10 raised to negative 2 divided by 3.75, then cube, no? Just press equal sign. Okay, so it should be 4.457. Check mo yung exponents mo, Kyla. So it should be 0.457. How many of you got the same how many of you got the same value as what I type? Mag-thumbs up nga kayo. Baka mamaya natutulog kayo, ha? Okay. So, ayan, may mga nakakuha naman ng same value as me. Check mo na lang yung exponents. Baka mamaya nakalimutan mo yung negative exponent. Ay, yung common pala yun, ha? Okay. Na ako ng student ako, ganun din ako. Minsan, nakakalimutan ko yung negative sign sa exponent. So, try retyping it na lang. Speaking of college, no, when I was in college, I really type the equilibrium equation twice. Dalawang beses ko siya sinasolve. So, yung first solve, yun yung isang pasada. Yung sasagutan ko lahat ng items na kaya ko sagutan. And then, kapag may time pa ako, sasagutan ko siya ulit just to see if tama yung aking pinagsasulat. Okay? Kasi I don't know, no? Pag ako nag-e-exam, ang aga ko matapos. Pero hindi ko sure kung tama yung sagot ko. Basta maaga lang ako natatapos. And then, yung, di ba maaga ako matatapos? Again, hindi ko sure kung tama or mali yung sagot ko. Basta maaga lang ako nagsulat. Mabilis kasi ako magsulat eh. Pag, mismong exam. Tsaka hindi ako nagkikipagkopyahan pag exam. Kaya marami akong time. Okay, so anyway, ayan na. So I solved for the Q already. Ayan, nakuha na. So it's 0.4571. Be careful with the exponents. And the KC is 1.2. Ngayon, let's tell where the reaction is going. Where are we going? Clap, clap, clap. Saan nga ba? To the left, to the right. Tignan natin. Wala ba ito? Okay. So, ayan. Ang gagawin niya, you can just simply refer to this table. Okay, you can just simply refer to the value. But I'm a visual learner. Okay? Kasi ako, as much as possible, ayoko magkabisado talaga. So, I create illustrations. So, kunwari, your Q is this, your K is that, where the reaction is going. So, ako, I create a number line. Wherein, in the middle, you have your K, which is 1.2. So, sa number line, nasan yung 0.4571? Di obviously, nasa left. Kasi smaller than di ba? So, it must be on the left. So, yan, your Q is smaller than K. And di ba, tandaan nyo, yung K yung pupuntahan natin. So, right arrow yan. So, yung Q pupunta kay K. So, meaning the direction of the reaction is to the right, no? To the right. To the right. Kasi dito yung Q eh. It is less than K, no? So, Q is less than K, so to the right, no? And so, Q is less than K, so to the product side. So, ako, suggestion ko talaga, gawa kayo ng ganito. Kasi ako nakakalimutan ko to be honest. Kaya ako ginagawa ko. Gagawa ko number line. In the middle, I have the K. Yun yung pupuntahan ko. So, in the number line, si Q nasa left side because it's smaller than K. So, the Q wants to go to K. So, pag gusto niya pumunta sa K, to the right. Sige. Ngayon ko lang nakita eh. Alam niyo yung utak ko natutulog pa. Pagkagising ko kanina, like, Monday na naman, Diyos ko. Grabe bilis ng panahon. Parang nakaraan, Sabado lang, tapos ngayon Monday na naman, Diyos ko. Anyway, ganun talaga pag tumatanda na. Tanggapin nyo na tumatanda na kaya. So, yan. The direction of the reaction is to the right. Okay? So, yan. Yan lang. So, ganun lang to. By the way, sa mga future problem, makikita nyo, pagsasabayin na natin lahat, no? Sa mga future problem, especially mamaya na. So, yung Q and then yung equilibrium concentrations, yung pag-solve, sabay-sabay natin gagawin. Grabe, matindi talaga to. Pero kapag na-master nyo yung equilibrium, nako, sobrang dali na lang ng lahat ng bagay. Okay? Kaya nga dati ito favorite ko kasi ako kasi math person ako talaga. Like, gusto ko nagsosolve. Pero kapag kabisado, like org chem, hindi ko gusto yun dati nung college. Ngayon ko magkabisado eh. Gusto ko nagpipindot sa calcu. Yan. Kasi minsan pag calcu, pag mali ka, madali na lang tanggapin. Kasi may pipindutin mo sa calcu. Like, accepted mo na, ay, mali talaga ako. Pero pag kunwari org chem, di ba logic yung org chem? Sabi mo, hindi ito yung feeling ko, ganito eh. Ganun ako dati. Kasi pala mali talaga ako. So anyway, let's try this next problem. Kung kaya nyo ako unahan, sige, unahan nyo ako. Babasahin ko muna syempre. Susunod na meeting nga, maghahanap na ako ng tagabasa ng problem. Kakatamad magbasa eh. Okay, tagabasa lang. Next meeting na yan. The equilibrium constant Kc for the formation of nitrosyl chloride from nitric oxide and molecular chlorine is 6.5 times 10 raised to 4 at 35 degrees Celsius. So, given ang equilibrium constant. So we don't have to worry about it. Then, in a certain experiment, 2 times 10 raised to negative 2 moles of nitric oxide, 8.3 times 10 raised to negative 3 mole of molecular chlorine, and 6.8 moles of nitrosyl chloride are mixed in 2-liter flask. In which direction will the system proceed to reach equilibrium? So, anong gagawin natin? Hanapin lang yung direction. So, in determining the direction, you need Q. Okay. So, you just write the Q. Again, kung kaya nyo na i-solve to advance sa akin, sige lang na. Go ahead. Kasi ako, madaldal ako. So, kung kaya nyo na siya sagutan in advance, sige, proceed. Then, wait for the answer na lang. Ayan. Okay, so again, product over reactant. So in the product side, you have 2 moles of nitrosyl chloride. So it can be written as the concentration of NOCl squared. Lagyan nyo ng I, ha? Do not forget that. Yeah. Kapag problem set nyo sa chapter 3, ganito din, ha? Lagyan nyo ng subscript. And then your NO in the reactant squared, and then the Cl2. Yan, initial. Do not forget the coefficients. They will be superscripts. Just like earlier, I'm given the moles and the volume of the flask. So, kung paano ko sinagutan kanina, same lang din dito. Okay, so again, I will not solve for their individual concentration. Rather, I will plug everything into the calculator. NOCl. Okay, so laki-laki ng ko, 6.8 lang pala yun. 6.8 divided by 2. Okay, so mole per liter Okay, so 6.8 moles divided by 2 liters. Yung unit, di ko na inilalagay, ha? Okay, pero I hope you can tell ano yung number na kinukuha ko. So for nitrous, nitric oxide, ito, 2 times 10 raised to negative 2. Divided by 2 liters, then naka-square, and then for the molecular chlorine, it is 8.3 times 10 negative 3 divided by 2. Ano yung Q? Pipindot pa lang ako sa calcu. So, kung naunahan nyo na ako mag-solve, type nyo na sa chat box. Okay, so Q. In the numerator, that's 6.8 divided by 2 squared. Okay. So, gawa ka ng fraction sa numerator. 6.8 divided by 2. Naka-square siya. Raised to 2. Sa denominator, dalawa. Never 2 times 10 raised to negative 2 divided by 2. Naka-square. Tama. Square. Times another fraction. So 8.3 times 10 negative 3 divided by 2. Oopsie. Diba? Ang weird lang kapag morning yung schedule nyo, like sobrang aga nagsasolve tayo. Anyway, 6.8 times 10 raised to negative 2 squared. Okay, confirm nyo kung tama yung mga sinulat natin. 2 times 10 negative 2 divided by 2 squared. 8.3 times 10 raised to negative 3 divided by 2 squared. Okay, so press equal sign. Laki ng value. And yan. Move their decimal point. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 2.7 9 times 10 raised to 7. Okay, tama na. 2 decimal places na lang natin. So 2.79 times 10 raised to positive 7. Laki, no? Okay. By the way, sa equilibrium, magdi-deal with very big or very small numbers talaga. Kaya sinasanay ko kayo sa mga ganitong problem. Baka kasi mamaya magulat kayo, legit ba to? Yes, legit yan. Ganun agad. You need to convince yourself na yung mga value malalaki talaga. Possible na malalaki yung value. Okay, anong gagawin? Number line. Okay, sa number line. Ayan, medyo malaki na ngayon kasi marami yung value. Anong gagawin nyo sa number 9? In the middle, you have your K. And K is 6.5 times 10 raised to 4. Ngayon, asan si Q? Nasa left, nasa right ng K. Alala ko tuloy bago ako matulog kanina. Sa TikTok, nanood ako. Tura left. Legit singer pala sila. Prank lang nila yun. Okay, right po si Q, correct. Na, kasi 7 eh. So, it must be greater than K. So, nasa right siya. So, Q is 2.79 times 10 raised to 7. So, nasa right si Q. Gusto niya puntahan si K. So, the direction is to the left, no? Okay, direction to the left. To the left. Ayan. Okay? Ayan, gets? Ganun lang siya ka-simple. Pero hindi pa yan yung mismong equilibrium. There's more to that. Screenshot nyo na lang, ha? By the way, let me check. Asa na ba ako sa PowerPoint? Okay. So, you know how to solve for Q? Meaning, you know the direction of the reaction na. Alam mo na siya kung to the left, to the right na siya. Okay? Ngayon, para saan ba yun? Okay, para saan ba yung direction? So, remember, these are the initial concentrations, right? And the direction of the reaction tells you saan siya papunta. To the left, to the right. Ibig sabihin, as your system tries to establish equilibrium, as it goes to the K value, some of the reactant or the product might be converted to their other form. Okay? So for example, in our problem, your Q is greater than K. So to the left yung reaction mo. Meaning, the products, no, itong 6.8 moles ng products, they need to be converted back to the reactant. Okay? So, bakit kailangan niya mapunta to the left? Okay, ba't niya kailangan i-convert yung products to reactants? So that you can establish na nasa equilibrium system ka na. So, kailangan yung Q pumasok siya sa K value. Okay? So, ganun din dito sa problem earlier, no? So, this is 0.4571. It is less than K. So, ibig sabihin, to the right yung reaction. Ano meaning nun? Yung ating reactants, itong 3.51 divided by 3.75, 3.67, tapos energy negative 2 divided by 3.75. So, yung mga amount na yan, yung concentration ng reactant natin, they need to be converted to product. So, that's why the direction of the reaction is to the right. So, sila ma-convert into the product. Ito naman, itong product, they need to be converted to the reactant so that we can establish the K. No? We can establish the equilibrium. Okay? So, yun yung goal parate, to establish the K or to establish the equilibrium. Now, you know where the direction is going. Pero, how do you solve for their equilibrium concentrations? What do I mean by that? Diba, tandaan nyo, ito mababawasan kasi to the left yung reaction. Mababawasan siya, madadagdagan yung product. Ngayon, ang question is, gano'n na sila karami after reaching K, no? So, diba, as the Q goes here, yung products magiging reactant. Ang tanong, pag itong Q nandito na sa K, ano na yung concentration nila? Gano'n na sila karami? Okay? So, ganun na sila karami. So, to solve that, may ice table tayo. Or kung familiar ka nito sa senior high school, minsan tinatawag siyang rice table. Okay? Pero same lang yan. Rice and ice, same lang. Okay? But if this is new to you, then let me explain. So, ayun na nga. Ang pinaka-point ko dito is that you know where the reaction is going. And depending on the direction of the reaction, pwede yung products ma-convert to reactant or yung reactant ma-convert into product. Now, our goal is to determine the equilibrium amount, no? So, after yung conversion na yon, gano'n na sila karami after. Okay? So, that's why we need the ice table. Ice table is an abbreviation, okay? Para siyang NASU rule, if naaalala nyo. So, what does it stand for? I stands for the initial concentration, which is given. Yun yung initial concentration ng ating chemical species. And the change, no? And the change is an algebraic expression. Bakit may algebra? May algebra kasi we don't know yet, no? How much will change. So, we will use x, no, as an unknown quantity. Okay, so yun yung C, yun yung change. It is an algebraic expression, okay, usually represented by x so that we can tell ano karami yung mawawala, okay? And then E is the equilibrium. So, ang ginagawa lang dito sa E is that you combine the I and the C, no? You add or subtract the C from your I to get your E, okay? And then usually E is an algebraic expression ulit. Okay, so again, algebraic expression uli siya, no? Kasi yung C mo may algebra doon. So, E will be an algebraic expression Then you need to plug it into your K equation and then you solve for X. Okay? So, yan. So, to demonstrate it to you, this is the problem. So, isomers of steel bean have an equilibrium constant Kc equals 24 at 200 degrees Celsius. So, this is the equation. Your cis is an equilibrium with a trans. Suppose initially there is 0.85 molar cis. Calculate the equilibrium concentration of all the substances. Okay, how will you proceed with this one? Madali lang. So, given yung cis, 0.85. May sinabi ba about the trans? Wala, di ba? So, sabi lang dyan, there is 0.85 molar cis isomer. But about the trans, walang sinabi. So, meaning, 0 yung amount ng trans initially. Okay? So, ganun. So, initially, you have 0.85 ng cis. Yung trans, pag walang sinabi, 0. Okay? So, 0 siya kasi walang sinabi sa ating problem. Okay? So, yun. Ngayon, let's make the ice stable or as they call it, dry stable na. Asan yung aking mouse? Ayun. Okay. Gawan natin ang equation muna sa taas. Cis trans na. Baka isipin nyo mag-org chem tayo. Hindi. Graduate na kayo sa org chem. Okay, so gawa kayong ice stable. Okay, yan. So again, initially, the concentration of cis is 0.85. May sinabi ba about trans? Wala. Okay? Wala siyang sinabi. So it is 0. Okay? O, dito na ngayon papasok si Q. Okay, so dito na papasok si Q. Because the Q will tell you sino yung dadami, sino yung oonte, di ba? So the Q will tell you that, no? Sino yung dadami, sino yung oonte. So, ito yung general rule. The general rule is that kung sino yung side na 0, dun papunta yung reaction. Okay? So for example, in our problem here, the trans has 0 concentration. So ibig sabihin, dun pupunta yung reaction. If you want to prove that, we can solve for the Q. So the amount of the product is 0, the amount of reactant is 0.85. 0 divided by 0.85, 0. Okay, so kumbaga if you're going to create a number line, yung 0 andito. So you really need to go to the right na. So yun yung general rule ha. Kapag 0, doon pupunta yung reaction. So kunwari may 0 sa reactant, edi to the left side yung reaction. Pag 0 sa product side, doon pupunta yung reaction. Okay? In our case, we don't have any products at all kasi walang sinabi. So 0 yung products. Meaning that the direction of the reaction is to the right. Okay? Now, what does it mean? Okay. What it means is that galit na galit. Sorry. Natuyo lalamunan ka. Anyway, so since to the right yung reaction, okay, so what it means is that dadami yung product side. Siyempre, dadami siya. Kasi maka-convert yung reactants to the product, right? So, by how much? I don't know. I have no idea kung gaano karami yung mapupunta sa product side. So, since yung ating product side, yung madadagdagan siya, yung trans, madadagdagan siya. So, you write it as positive X. Why X? I don't know kasi gaano karami yung mapupunta sa kanya. Okay? So, yan. Again, the logic here is that kung saan yung zero, doon pupunta yung reaction. And then, since doon papunta yung reaction, madadagdagan siya, no? Kasi ma-convert yung cis to the trans. So, madadagdagan siya. So, the sign is positive. X, kasi I don't know gano'n siya karami. Gano'n karami yung madadagdag sa kanya. For the cis, what do you think the sign of the change should be? Should it be positive or negative for the cis? What should be the sign of the change? Kasi positive sa product side, di ba? Kasi dun papunta yung reaction eh. To the right yung reaction. Now, how about the cis? What is the change? It is negative, correct? Negative yun, tama kayo. Kasi nga, mababawasan siya. Okay? It will compensate for what's missing in the product side, no? Ibig sabihin, magma-minus x ako dito. Okay? So, 0 yung product, yung reactant, magko-compensate siya sa kulang ng trans, okay, sa kulang ng product. So, mababawasan siya, minus x. Sa trans, positive x kasi madadagdagan siya. So, bale, kung ano yung nawala kay cis, mapupunta kay trans. Okay? Yan. Na-gets yung change? Hopefully, na-gets yung change. Pag may clarification, sabihin nyo before we proceed. So, ganun lang ha. Depending on the direction of the reaction, the sign of the change is either positive or negative. If dun papunta yung reaction, then that's positive. And then kapag yung reaction ay, yung side ng reaction ay mababawasan, so it's negative. Okay? So I guess clear naman for now. What's the E? The E is the equilibrium, no? So after all those changes, what will be their final concentration? Parang yun yung sinasabi ng E. Okay? So when your initial nagbago, what's the E? Okay? Ano yung final amount niya? So you just write 0.85 minus x. So dito, 0 plus x is x. Okay? So ganun lang gagawin nyo sa E. You just combine the I and the C. So I plus C equals equilibrium. So initial plus change equals the product. And now, anong gagawin nyo? You have your equilibrium expressions. Why expressions? Kasi may x, okay? Ganun sa algebra, diba? Kapag may mga x, may mga y, we call it expression. So the equilibrium amount of cis is 0.85 minus x. And the equilibrium amount of trans is x. So you should find for the value of x. No? Solve for x. How? How will I solve for the value of x? You write again the k. Susulat ka uli ng k. So what's the k? It's the product over reactant, right? So in our case, that's trans over the cis. The concentration of trans at equilibrium and the concentration of cis at equilibrium. Lagyan ko ng EQ ha. Para alam nyo equilibrium yan. So the K is the concentration of trans at equilibrium divided by the concentration of cis at equilibrium, product over reactant. So now, what's the value of K? It's 24. What's the equilibrium concentration of trans? It is X. Diba? So X siya. And what's the value of the cis? It's 0.85 minus X. Na? So 0.85 minus X. Can we solve for X? Yes. Dito na tayo mag-algebra. Okay? So it is now time to solve for X. So let's do it. You cross-multiply the denominator. So that will be 24 times 0.85 minus x. And then, ano gagawin mo? You distribute. By the way, tuturuan ko kayo ng shortcut. Hindi mawawala yung chem kapag walang shortcut. You distribute this. Long method muna. Okay, so what's 24 times 0.85? 20.4. Okay, so it's 20.4 minus 24 times x, 24x. And then ano susunod? You combine the x na. Yung mga x pagsama-samahin. Okay. You add 24x both sides so that mapunta siya sa kabila. So ano mangyayari is 20.4 equals x plus 24x. So again, pag addition, pag nilagay mo siya sa other side, magpapalit lang siya ng sign. No? So kanina negative, ngayon positive na siya sa right side. X plus 24x. No? So it's the same as 1x plus 24x. So 1x plus 24x is 25x. Okay. Again, always may imaginary 1 dyan, ha? Algebra things. No? Ayan, solve for x. So x is 20.4 divided by 25. X is 0.816. Correct. Okay. Ito ay concentration. So you write molarity at the end. Okay. So yan yung x value, 0.816. The question is, are we finished? Tapos na ba tayo? Sagot ay hindi pa. We are not yet done. Why? Kasi hinanap equilibrium concentration. Ang nasolve mo lang ay x. How will you solve for the equilibrium concentration? Plug in the x lang. Okay? So you plug in the x sa equilibrium. No? So meaning, hindi ko pa yan ibabox. Okay? So lagay nyo at equilibrium. Ipa-plug in nyo yan, ha? Huwag nyo kakalimutan yan. Sabihin nyo, at equilibrium. Okay, the concentration of trans is equal to x, and that is equal to 0.816 molar. Ayun yung concentration niya after the change, na? And then si cis naman, so si cis ay 0.85 minus 0.816. 0.85 minus 0.816. Ah, 0.034. Nabawasan siya, no? Okay? So, yun yung kanilang mga final amounts, no? So, yan yung trans. Ito yung cis. Nasundan ba? Dali pa lang, na? So, again, this is how the typical equilibrium calculation works. Okay? Ganito siya. You will be given the initial amounts, and then you will be asked to solve for the equilibrium amount. Kapag given initial, hinahanap equilibrium, you need to do the ice table. Okay? Why po uli nag-subtract? Okay, dito yan na. Nag-subtract tayo ng cis kasi sabi natin, the reaction is going to the right. Okay, again, kung saan may zero, dun pupunta yung reaction. So, the cis will compensate for what is missing sa product side. Kaya siya minus x. Kasi mababawasan siya to form the products. Okay? which according to our equation is, ayun, nadagdagan nga yung products, no? So, kanina 0 siya, ngayon 0.816 na siya, no? O, yung reactant, kanina 0.85, ngayon 0.034 molar na lang. So, it is indeed na, totoo na nag-compensate talaga yung reactant sa product side, no? So, yung kulang niya, pinunan niya. Okay? Gaano karami? Di by X value. Okay? So, subtract kapag mababawasan siya, positive kapag madadagdagan siya. Paano mo malalaman uli kapag madadagdagan o mababawasan? Yun yung direction of reaction. As a general rule, kung saan yung 0, dun pupunta yung reaction. Kasi kulang yun eh. Hindi kailangan punan yun. In our case, yung product side 0 siya. So, yun yung kailangan punan. Okay? Nadadigest niya na ba yung future niya? Okay. So, madali lang for now because wala tayong coefficients eh. What do you think will happen if we have coefficients? Yung ating equation na simple lang, edi magiging rin, difficult. Kasi siya ay magiging quadratic equation. So, yan. Ito yung pinaka-reason bakit nag-suggest ako ng calculator sa inyo. Okay? So, I suggested a specific version of calculator kasi magka-quadratic equation tayo. I don't want you to use yung x is equals to negative b plus minus square root of something else kasi ako hindi ko nga kabisado yun eh. Kaya gagamit na lang tayong calcu. Okay? So, ito yung pinaka-reason why I wanted you to have similar calculators. Okay? And now, let's look at what will happen. Patapos na rin pala tayo. Okay, tignan natin, no? This one will involve quadratic equation. Paano ko nalaman? May kasi, may coefficient. Okay. By the way, so bigyan ko muna kayo ng time. I want you to construct the ice table for this problem. Gawa kayo ng ice table. In the ice table, you should indicate yung positive, negative. Okay? So, yan. Sige. Gawin niyo muna kasi may naririnig ako na kuting. Nanganak kasi yung pusa namin. Uli. Kaya, tignan ko baka mamaya nakatakas. Okay? So, gawa muna kayo ice table and then I will show you my answer. Okay? So, 1 minute. Okay, let me show you how I will write the ice table. Okay, sana kasya yung space. Ice table tayo. So again, I will just copy everything, no? Yung reaction. Kaya tinatawag nilang rise to. Kasi on the top, you need to write the reaction. And then the ice. No? Yan, ice. Actually, may nakalimutan ako sabihin kanina, pero bibigay ko na lang siya. See? Okay. So the initial concentration of H2 is what? Okay, so that is 0.75 molar. Bakit 0.75 na, sir? Kasi yung volume ng ating solution, yung volume ng container ay 1 liter lang naman. So 0.75 divided by 1, edi 0.75 na rin. Okay? So yun yung kanyang concentration, 0.75 molar. Si iodine, ganun din, 0.75 molar. Okay? Again, bakit yun pa rin? Dinivide ko na siya sa 1 liter. So, naging molar na siya. And then, HI, walang sinabi sa HI, so 0 siya. So, since walang sinabi about HI, 0 siya, dun pupunta yung reaction. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, positive yung change for the product, negative for the reactants. Parehas silang negative. Bakit? Kasi sila ay reactants. Again, papunta yung reaction sa product side. So, ito madadagdagan, ito mababawasan. So, negative for H2, I2, negative yung change. And then, for the product side, positive yung change. Negative edi X, no? Ano yung nakalimutan ko sabihin sa inyo? Ang nakalimutan ko sabihin is that kapag may coefficient ka, yun yung value ng X mo. Okay? What do I mean by that? For example, 1x, 1 yung H2 mo, edi 1x lang yan. Pero kapag yan ay 2, okay, may coefficient ka na 2, edi 2x siya. Okay? So, ito yung nakalimutan ko kanina. Okay? So again, kapag may coefficient ka, magiging ganun yung change ng x mo. Okay? Kumbaga, it must be proportional to your coefficient. So, yun lang naman yung nakalimutan ko kanina. Okay? So, kanina kasi 1 lang yan. Kasi 1 lang naman yung mga coefficient yan eh. So, 1, 1, edi 1x, negative 1x, positive 1x. So, dito, since may 2 na coefficient doon, edi 2x. Okay? So, itong 1, hindi ko na ilalagay yung 1 ha. Kasi automatically may 1 na yan sa harap eh. So, negative 1x, negative 1x, and ito, positive 2x kasi may coefficient na 2. Okay? I'll use a different color na lang just to emphasize it. Okay? So, 2x, positive 2x. Okay? And then, ano susunod? Yung equilibrium. So, 0.75 minus x, 0.75 minus x, and this one will be just 2x. Sino yung nakuha to? Except for 2. Okay. Kahit yung 2 hindi nyo nakuha, okay lang. Pero yung the rest, nakuha nyo naman. Okay, you can press like kapag okay naman. Okay. Si Princess nakuha niya. Okay, so good. Sir Renz then. Okay, kapag hindi nakuha, let me know so that we can explain further. Important kasi itong topic na to. Okay, si Krisha nakuha na rin. Sa ganun ha, yung ano lang, ang nakalimutan ko sabihin earlier, kapag may coefficient, it will be reflected sa change, no? So, kung 2 yung HI, edi 2x din dapat. Okay? Kapag 3 yung HI, edi 3x. Kapag 4, edi 4x. Okay? Now, ano gagawin natin? Just like earlier, we have our equilibrium expressions. Okay? Pag may question, sabihin niyo lang sa akin. Okay? Kunwari, bago tayo pumunta. Kunwari, ito ay 3x, edi dapat, 3hi. So, magiging 3x yan. Pag yan ay 5, edi 5x. Okay? But in our problem, it's 2x. It's 2hi, so 2x siya. Okay? Now, ano gagawin natin? We have our equilibrium expressions. Kailangan kasi equilibrium concentration makuha mo, yung walang x. Pero this time may x tayo eh. Anong gagawin natin? We need to plug it into our K equation. Okay? So you'd write the K ulit, no? So K is equal to the products over the reactants. So alam niyo na kung paano gumawa ng K, di ba? So yan. So it will be, the concentration of H square at equilibrium, the concentration of H2, the concentration of I2. Yan. Tapos, anong gagawin? Plug in the values. Okay? So, your K is 54.3. Okay, and then HI concentration is just 2x. And then, naka-square pa siya. Okay? So, yung 2x, ipa-plug in mo doon. Ayan. And then, naka-square pa siya. Okay? So, yun. So, 2x, then naka-square. H2, ano yan? 0.75 minus x. O yung I2, ganun din. 0.75 minus x. Ano gagawin natin? Solve for x. Gusto ko huminga kayong malalim kasi ako ay mag-algebra. Okay? Umagang-umaga, mag-algebra tayo, na? Ayan. Okay. So, ano gagawin ko dito? So, this is binomial. So, gagawin ko dito ay, ako ay magfo-FOIL method. Ano yung FOIL method? The first, outer, inner, and then last. Okay, so yun yung mga i-multiply mo kapag binomial, di ba? Welcome to algebra again. Akala nyo makakatakas kayo, no? Gawin natin yung gawin natin yung first, no? Teka lang, kopyahin ko muna yung iba. Sorry. So, ito yung reason bakit kailangan mag-review talaga ng algebra. Okay, itong 2x square. By the way, ano yung 2x square? So, it will become 4x square. Okay, so yung 2 naka-square, yung x naka-square din. So, it's 4x square. Okay? So, siguro wala naman tayong problem with that na. Kasi parehas sila naka-raise to 2. So, 2x, 2 squared then x squared. So, that's 4x squared. Dito tayo sa baba mag-focus sa denominator. FOIL method. First term. So, 0.75 times 0.75. Ano ang sagot? Yan i-calculate natin. 0.75 times 0.75. 5625. Okay? Nakopya mo yan. 0.5625. Nasaan yung mouse? Nakawala na naman siya. Ayun. 0.5625. Yeah. Okay, so 0.5625. Okay. Yan yung first. Outer. Outer. So, ito yung outer. Okay, so first, outer. Ayan. So, outer is 0.75 times negative x lang. You multiply them, ha? Okay. Just recall your FOIL method. So, 0.75 times negative x. Pwede po ba square root na lang yung whole equation? Actually, pwede naman. Shortcut yan eh. Mamaya ko pa yung sasabihin eh. Buti na pansin mo agad. Mamaya ko na ipakita. Pero gusto ko muna ipakita yung algebra na long method. Tapos i-explain ko ano yung pinaka-point ni Kyla doon. Okay? Kasi yun din yung shortcut dito eh. Pero it doesn't work always ha. So yun lang. Outer 0.75 times negative x, so that's negative 0.75x. And then the inner negative x 0.75, so ganun pa rin, so it's still 0.75x. And then the last, so that's negative x times negative x, and the x square, yun parehas na negative, magiging positive, no? So negative x, positive x. Okay? Tapos pagsamahin mo yung yung 0.75 na dalawa. Okay? So ano yung 0.75? 1.5 pala. Okay? So that's 54.3. So that's 4x squared. 0.5625 minus 1.5x plus x. Then, ano susunod na gagawin? Di cross multiply. Okay? You cross multiply it with 54.3. Masakit na yung likod ko dito. Pagpalitin ko na lang sila ng position kasi limited yung space ko dito eh. So 54.3 times 0.5625 minus 1.5x plus x squared. Sorry, I forgot the square. Nakalimutan ko yung square kanina. And then you distribute 54.3 sa nasa loob. Okay? Siguro sa quiz dito medyo matagal na. Hindi siya 30 minutes kasi medyo mahaba yung calculations. X square. Kalimutan ko kanina. Okay. So 54.3 times 0.5625. Ano yun? 54.3 times 0.5625. Pag ganyan, kopyahin mo lahat, ha? Hindi pwede mag-shortcut dito. So, 3054375. 54375. Ano yun? 54375. 3054375. Okay? And then, 54.3 times negative 1.5x. Okay, so 81.45 pero negative sign, negative 81.45. And then positive 54.3x squared. Diba? Dito na yung point na magdadalawang isip na kayo. Ba't ako nag-biology? Ba't ako nag-biology? May ganito rin pala. Siguro inisip nyo dati nung high school, senior high school, no? Kunwari, STEM strand kayo. Ay, gusto ko mag-bio. Tapos pagdating ng college, binalikan kayo ng chem. Okay? Ano na, you just have to be careful. Ako rin, naduduling din ako minsan dito eh. Kaya 2 beses ko siya sinasolve nung college ako. Okay? I distribute this here, distribute it there, distribute it everywhere. Yan. Okay, and then ano gagawin natin? Pagsama-samahin ang pare-pareho. Okay, so I will need to put my 4x to the other side. Lipat ko yung 4x dito. Kasi, in a polynomial, the equation must be a raised to xn plus b raised to xn minus 1 plus c raised to x raised to n minus 2 dot dx raised to 0 equals 0. Okay. So, ano lang pinaka-point ko dyan? Lahat ilipat mo sa iisang side. Pagsama-samahin mo sila. Okay. So, gagawin kong 0 itong left side. And then, you should pattern it in higher exponent then pababa. Okay. So, kailangan higher exponent sa harap then pababa. ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. So, ganun mo siya gagawin, ha? So, unahin natin yung x squared. Bale, that's 54. By the way, kung naduduling kayo sa sumulat, pwede i-zoom in ata sa MS Teams yung naka-screen share sa akin. Alam ko pwede nyo i-zoom in yan eh. So, 54.3 x squared minus 4x. So, again, naging minus kasi nilipat ko siya na. So, positive siya sa left side ngayon. Pag nilagay ko siya sa right side, negative siya. Okay, so unahin mo yung x squared. Tapos ano susunod? Yung x. So, yung x, negative 81.45x. And then yung c, yun yung last one. Positive 30.54375. Pasensya na. Nag-quadratic tayo. So, 54 minus 4, di 50.3. Okay? And then 81.45x plus 30.54375. Hi, thank you, Lord. Okay. What's the reason why I want you to arrange them from highest to lowest exponent? Okay? So each of them, mayroon silang corresponding Okay? So itong 50.3, it will be our A. Itong negative 81.45, kasama yung negative, that will be our B. And then our number lang, that will be our letter C. Okay? So, yun yung A sa AX square, yun yung B sa BX, yun yung C. Ano gagawin nyo dito? Sabi ni algebra, if you have x raised to 2, use your quadratic equation, which I don't remember at all. Okay? So, let's look up for the quadratic equation formula. Mas alam ko lang negative b. Tapos, square root of something, di ba? Okay. So, you will need to use the quadratic formula. That's negative b plus minus square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. The reason why I told you to write the equation from highest exponent pababa so that you will know what is the A, what is the B, what is the C. Again, kasama yung negative sign ha when assigning A, B, and C. Kapag positive yan, edi as is na yan. Pero kapag negative yan, isasama mo siya. Okay, so we can actually plug them in. So negative B, ito yon. Plus minus B square, ito yon. Square mo yan. Minus 4 times A times C. A times C times 4. All divided by 2A. Pero tuturuan ko kayo ng shortcut. Kasi, di ba, iisa lang naman yung calcu natin, right? So, ibig sabihin, pwede natin gawin yung shortcut. So, shortcut na lang ituturo ko. Hindi ko na ipapakita yung quadratic equation mismo because nakatamad. So, let me tell you how to do the shortcut. Okay, sabay-sabay. Buksan ang calcu, of course. Okay, so everyone open your calculator. Turuan ko kayo ng shortcut ha. Now, once your calculator is open, ano gagawin nyo? You need to press mode. Okay, pindutin ang mode. Di ba nung chapter 2 sa lecture, sa lab, nag-stat kayo. Dito naman, this time, we'll do the equation. You press 5. Ang dami nangyari. Basically, hanapin mo lang, ano yung equation mo? Our highest exponent is 2, right? So, x square eh. So, you choose number 3 kasi yun yung highest exponent natin. Sa class whiz, teka lang. Ito yung class whiz ko. Check ko sa class whiz ha. Wala yung exponent dito. By the way, sa class whiz, stop sharing ko muna ha. Sa class whiz kasi, medyo yayamanin kayo dyan. Okay. Kapag pinindot nyo yung mode, wala palang mode dito. Nakalagay menu. Bakit naka-steady lang yung mukha ko? So you press menu, and then yan, hanapin mo yung equation. Okay, nasa baba yan. Yan. Okay, so ito yung equation. Yung xy equals 0 yung graphic niya. Then you press equal sign to access that. Tapos, pipiliin nyo polynomial, and then the degree is 2. Okay? So, ganun. So, ganun sa class whiz, no? So, again, pag class whiz gamit nyo, you press, menu, equation, polynomial. Then, if you are asked what is the polynomial degree, basically, kung ano yung highest exponent mo. In our problem, 2. Yes, degree is 2. Sana all may degree. Alam niyo na kung ano yung point ko doon. Dapat hindi na memeke ng degree. At least ito may degree, no? 2 pa. Wow. Double degree yan. Okay. This is ax squared. So, ito piliin natin. Pero kapag class whiz, ganun pa pindutan niya. So, medyo maraming pindutan. Anyway, so for those using 991,570, you just press 3. Yan, ABC. Gagawin natin, lagay mo na lang yung numbers. So, what is your A? 50.3. Yan. Then, press equal sign. Same na rin to sa class whiz, ha? Okay? So, for those using class whiz, pag nandito na kayo sa ganitong itsura, you just type the numbers. So, for letter A, that's 50.3. That's the coefficient of x squared. Press equal sign. Napunta ka na sa B. Sabihin mo, that's negative 81.45. That's negative 81.45. Yan. And then press equal sign ulit. And then for letter C, sobrang dami nakalagay. So, tatype mo yan lahat. 30, 54, 375. Sino nakagawa na? Press like sign. Okay. Ayan. And so, letter A, 50.3. Letter B, negative 81.45. Then letter C, 30.54375. Ano na gagawin ngayon ng ClassWiz people and ng Casio people and 991 people? I just press equal sign. Wala, ano yan, sir? That's your first x value. Okay? That is when your quadratic equation is positive. Yan yung first x value. Yan ay kung positive yan. Ang sabi, x is positive. X1 is 1.029. 1.029 na lang kokopihin ko. So that's the first value of x. 1029. Okay, syempre molarity na yan, ha? So 1.029 molarity. Yan yung first value ng x. You press it again. Press equal sign, sabay-sabay. 1, 2, 3. May x2 ka na. 0.58, 0.590. Round off ko siya to 3 decimal places na lang, ha? Kasi ang dami na nating numbers na sinusulat, eh. 0.590. That is when your this is the value when your this sign is negative na. So kanina yung positive yan, ngayon yung negative siya. Okay? So 0.590. Okay? Sino yung nakuha yung dalawang value? Sa quiz, kapag problem solving, dun lang kayo kailangan talaga magganito. Pero kunwari, multiple choice yan, tapos kunwari, sumuko na talaga kayo sa problem. Sige, hulaan nyo na lang. Pero kapag may problem solving kasi sa quiz at commonly ginagawa ko, isang problem solving lang. Okay. So, ganun. Magsusulat ka talaga na ganito. Okay. So, yan. Pero kapag multiple choice, wala nang solution yan. But there will be a question sa quiz na may solving. Okay. Nakuha nyo na naman, na. So, ngayon, commonly kasi, this is the common value, no? Di ba dalawa yung x mo? Kasi according to algebra, the number of highest exponent or the number of degree tells you the number of roots. Yun yung x value, di ba? So, di ba kasi ang quadratic parang ganito yan eh. So, dalawang beses siya tumatama sa x, kaya dalawa yung x value. Kunwari, that's x cubed, no? So, ganito yung graph nun. So, tatlong beses siya tatama sa, sa 0 or sa x. So, tatlo yung x value niya. X raised to 4, 4 na beses tatama. Okay? So, 1, 2, 3, 4. So, yun yung reason bakit kung ano yung highest degree, ganun karami yung roots, no? So, just algebra stuff. Okay? Pero, commonly kasi, yung isa dyan, positive, yung isa negative. What do we get, no? Yung positive value. Okay? So, kunwari, x1 is positive, x2 is negative. Edi kunin mo yung positive value. Okay? So, yun yung rule of thumb. Ito yung problem. Pareho silang positive. Diba? So, again, sabi ko kanina, pag isa positive, isa negative, kunin mo yung positive. Yun yung sagot. Pero ngayon, paano kapag parehas silang positive, sir? Mag-isip ka, which do you think is more appropriate? Sino kaya sa kanilang dalawa yung mas tama? Okay, paano mo malalaman? Okay, just go back to your ice table. So if you subtract 1.029 sa 0.75, it will be a negative value, di ba? So 0.75 minus 1, edi negative 0.25. The question is there a negative concentration? Wala. There is no negative concentration. 0, pwede pa. Pero when it comes to negative concentration, hindi pwede. So that's why, as early as now, we can say that x1, we should eliminate this. No? Kasi if we subtract it dito sa 0.75, itong x1 na to, pag sinubtract natin sa 0.75, the concentration will be negative, which is impossible. Tandaan, ang concentration, 0 pataas lang siya. It cannot be negative. Okay? So that's why, when choosing the x, you really have to think, na dalawa yung x value natin, because this is quadratic. So, if positive, negative yan, choose positive. In our case, pareha sila positive, so you choose which is more appropriate. So if I use 1, subtract it dito sa 0.75, negative yung sagot. So, x na to. Meaning, ito yung gagamitin ko. So, this is the x value that I will use. Why this? No? Kasi, if I subtract it dito sa 0.75, at least may matitira pang value. Hindi siya negative. Okay? Lagi tandaan, the concentration must always be positive in value. Ito, may question. Sir, what if both po possible na options? Actually, isa lang talaga yung possible option. I tried doing a lot of equilibrium calculations. So ako na magbibigay sa inyo ng assurance na isa lang talaga sa mga options na yan yung correct answer. Kahit trinomial yan, or kahit fourth degree pa yan, iisa lang yung possible answer. Okay, may assurance na kayo na isa lang yung tamang x value. Ako kasi nung college, nagagawa namin up to fourth root. So, 4 yung x namin. Tapos, iniisa-isa namin yan. Ang nangyayari kasi with the other roots is minsan imaginary na yung value niya. Okay? Yung may I. Okay? Minsan imaginary na. And there are no imaginary concentrations. Kaya hindi sila pwede. So, may matitira at may matitira talaga na iisang appropriate value. Okay? Ngayon, I know that the x should be 0.590 kasi when I subtract it sa 0.75, at least positive yung difference. Bawal kasi negative na difference, na. So, I will use that. So, asan yung mouse? Meaning, at equilibrium, hindi pa ako tapos. Okay, at the equilibrium, ang concentration ng aking chemical species ay ang sumusunod. Okay, so for both H2 and I2, so parehas na, both na ha. Parehas lang naman sila eh. So that's 0.75 minus 0.59. So ano kaya yan? 0.75, ay sorry. By the way, kunwari gusto nyo bumalik sa regular na buhay, pindutin nyo lang AC, tapos shift, clear. Okay? Shift, then clear. Yun ay kung gusto niya bumalik sa normal na calcu. Shift, then clear. Okay? Shift, clear, then all. Equal sign. Okay? Babalik na kayo ulit sa normal na buhay. And that's 0.75 minus 0.59. Diba? Positive yung difference. So, ito yung gagamitin ka. Okay, so 0.16. Okay, so for both H2 and I2, the equilibrium concentration is 0.16 molar. While for HI, si HI, siya ay 2x, di ba? So that will be 2 times 0.59. Ano sagot doon? 1.18. So, yun yung kanilang mga concentration. Okay? So, for H2 and I2, they are the same, 0.16. While for HI, that's twice the X we chose earlier. Okay? So, it's 1.18 molar. Ay, salamat sa Diyos. Tapos na tayo. Marami pang ganyan sa laboratory, chapter 4. No? So, mag-ready na lang. Yung quiz natin dito sa lecture, mga basic problem lang. No? Basically, kung ano ginawa natin ngayon, ganun pa rin. Okay. So, ganito pa rin. Screenshot niya. Kasi may part pa ng discussion. Don't worry, yung next part ay ano na lang. Wala namang calculation siya. Kung gusto nyo mag-practice ng marami, may worksheet naman tayo. Okay? Don't forget may worksheet tayo. Okay? Dito naglagay na ako ng sobrang daming problems na pwede nyo gamitin. So part 1, part 2 yan. Hindi kayo magsawa kayo sa questions. Okay? Sa part 2 yung ice table. Ayan. Ayan, magsawa kayo with explanation na yan. Okay? So, by the way, let me know kapag may typo ha. Kasi last year pa ata to eh. Ayan. So, ayan. Ang dami ko nang nilagay ha. So, pag mag-practice maigi, sagutan muna bago tignan ang final answer. And then kapag may question, just let me know. Okay? Itong isang to, sa laboratory to, nakalimutan ko lang burahin. sa laboratory na yan. Chapter 4 lab. Okay? Gravimetry pa rin yung chapter 3. Yan. So ito, chapter 4 lab. Nakalimutan ko siya i-delete. Okay? Hindi yan kasama. Ganun lang, no? So, ito yung buhay ng chemistry, no? Dito umiikot ang analytical chem. Okay? Because, again, quantification lang tayo ng chemical species. And knowledge of ice table will actually help you a lot, no? In understanding chemical systems. Ito sa lab to, ha? Skip ko na yan. Ngayon, last part na tayo ng topic natin for today. Patapos na tayo. Sorry, before we proceed again, yung mga worksheet andito sa ha. Yan. So, sagutan nyo na lang. Yan na yung ice table, etc. Good luck. Enjoy, of course. Let's go to the last part. No? So, diba, ano mangyayari, 'di ba? When you react chemical species, no? They will equilibrate, of course, no? So, 'di ba kanina nakita natin when you have your initial chemicals, they will reach equilibrium by changing the concentration of one species over the other, 'di ba? So, yun yung pinaka-idea ng ginagawa natin eh. So, naglagay ka ng 0.75 mole H2, 0.75 mole I2, and then you allow them to react. Eventually, their concentrations will change. Na? Kung walang product, magkakaroon din ng product over time. Now, what will happen if you add more substances, you heat it, or you change the container? Okay? So, ano mangyayari kapag binago-bago mo yung parameters ng equilibrium system? Okay? So, katulad natin, tayo ay subject to stress. No? Chemical systems are also affected by stress. Di ba? Parang maisip nyo, the audacity. Siya na nga nagbibigay sa akin ng stress. Look at that. Pero ganun. So, yung ating chemical systems then, they are also affected by stress. Okay? Bukod sa binibigyan nila tayo ng stress, sila rin nasi-stress mismo. Okay? What are those stresses? No? Yung mga stress na yon ay yung mga change in temperature, change in volume, change in pressure, change in concentration. So those are the external stress that our equilibrium system suffers. No? And then, since katulad natin, pag nag-stress, ano yung sinasabi sa atin? Adapt, no? Mag-adapt ka na lang sa stress, no? Filipino ka eh. Mabuhay ka sa stressful life. Okay? So, ganun talaga. So, ganun din yung mga chemical systems. So, they don't have any choice but to adjust the equilibrium. And that is the principle of Le Chatelier. Okay? Yung pronunciation niyan, hindi ako French, kaya tatagalog ko yung pronunciation ko. Alam ko ang French niya, Le Chatelier. Okay. So, basta yung umiikot yung dila. Le Chatelier. Basta yan. Basta Tagalog, Le Chatelier. Palutungan ng R, diba? So, the Le Chatelier principle allows us to actually predict what will happen to your system when it suffers stresses. No? And according to Chatelier, okay, ito yung mga nangyayari sa stresses. Number 1, change in concentration. So sabi dito, when you increase the concentration of products, it shifts the equilibrium to the left. Diba? Diba yun naman yung nangyayari sa reaction coefficient. Kapag maraming product, edi papunta sa left yung reaction. And kapag yung reactant naman yung dinamihan mo, edi to the right. No? Okay. If you decrease the amount of products, to the right naman yung reaction. Okay. Bakit to the right to? Kasi when you decrease the amount of products, edi maraming reactant na. Okay. So, yun. So, basta ang idea lang, increase ng products, papunta sa left. If you increase reactant, papunta sa right. Pero kapag decrease, baliktad yung trend. Decrease product to the right, decrease reactant to the left. Okay? So, yun yung mga 4 possible outcomes, na. Increase product to the right. Okay, summarize ko dito. So, increase product to the left pala. Decrease product to the right. And then, when you do the other side, yung sa reactant naman, when you increase reactant to the right, and when you decrease your reactant to the left. Okay? So, those are the possible directions of reaction depending on the change of those parameters, or those concentrations. Okay? Tignan nyo to si test tube, no? So, nadagdagan si reactant, ano gagawin niya? Lilipat niya sa right. Okay? Ito naman, nadagdagan yung product, lipat niya sa left. Okay? So, basta tandaan nyo lang tong 4 na possible outcomes. So, that's the Le Chatelier principle in the changes in concentration. Next one is the pressure and the volume. No? So, for the pressure and the volume, what happens here? So, generally daw, in a system that favors, increased pressure favors the net reaction with lesser moles of gases. Okay? Let me write something. So, increase in pressure, you will favor less mole of gas, no? Okay? So, ganun. So, increase in pressure will favor less mole of gas. When you increase the volume, it will do the same. Okay? It will favor less, baliktad pala. It will favor more mole of gas. May example tayo dito. Don't worry. Ilatag ko lang yung mga kakabisaduhin niya. Okay? If you decrease pressure, you favor more mole of gas. If you decrease the volume, may favor less mole of gas. Wala, 5 minutes na lang. Anyway, so let me just discuss it very quickly. Why is it inverse yung relationship nila? Kapag increased pressure, less mole of gas. Kapag increased volume, more. Because remember Boyle's law, pressure and volume are inversely proportional. Okay? So, yeah. So, paano mo malalaman yung less mole of gas, more mole of gas? So, basically, just use their coefficients. Okay? Suppose these two are gases. Silang tatlo gases. Dito, 2 moles of gas tayo. On the reactant side, on the product side, we only have 1 mole of gas. Okay? Just simply looking at their equation. So that, as you can see, when you increase the pressure, tignan nyo ha. Okay. Ito, decrease pressure. What will happen? When you decrease the pressure or increase the volume, it favors the side we're in. Yan na. Hinihila niya. So, decrease pressure, dumadami yung more mole of gas. Na? Decrease in pressure favors more mole of gas. While increase in pressure, as you can see, it will favor the less mole of gas. Okay? Pinush niya. So, nagdikit-dikit yung mga molecules. Next one is the temperature. Basically, ito lang yung tatandaan nyo. Kapag exothermic, temperature increase favors endothermic reaction because we view heat as reactant, no? Kapag endothermic reaction, heat is reactant. And then kapag exothermic, we imagine heat as product, no? So same lang to ng concentration, no? Imagine heat is a concentration and increasing temperature increases the heat concentration. Parang ganun yung idea dito. Okay? So kapag endothermic, if you increase the temperature, since it is the reactant, the reaction will proceed to the right. Okay? And if endothermic yan, you decrease the temperature, meaning you decrease the reactant, edi to the left yung reaction. Kapag exothermic naman, ito kakabisaduhin nyo lang talaga. Pag exothermic, you imagine heat as the product. So meaning, increasing temperature increases the products. Okay? So when you increase the products, the reaction goes to the left. And then when you decrease the temperature for an exothermic reaction, it decreases the products na. So meaning to the right yung reaction. Baka malito na kaya na. So yan, siguro kapag may further clarification, message nyo na lang ako. So medyo mag-rush na ako, 2 minutes na lang eh. Okay? So yan yung mga outcomes natin. And again, you imagine heat as your concentration of substances. Pag catalyst naman, it doesn't have any effect because it speeds up both reactions, the forward and the reverse, no? So walang epekto yan. Bumibilis sila both, no? So it doesn't change the equilibrium system. Ito siguro sagutan ko na lang to. Upload ko na lang yung answer nito. Basically, this is just the Chatelier principle. Okay? You don't really need to determine the equilibrium concentration, but upload ko na lang yung answer. So, ito, sagutan ko na lang tong isang to. Okay? So, suppose you have this reaction. Okay? Then this is the heat. Kapag positive yung delta H, that means ito ay endothermic. Okay? Positive delta H. Heat yung delta H. Kapag exo, negative yung delta H. Exothermic. Maglalabas siya ng heat. So, since this is endothermic, ano sabi ko kanina? Pag endothermic, you imagine heat as the reactant. So, I will add here heat, no? Or delta. Delta yung symbol namin for heat. Okay? So, ito, basahin natin. Reacting mixture is heated at a constant volume. So, tinaasan mo daw yung heat. So, dumami yung reactant. So, the direction of the reaction is to the right. Okay? Kasi dumadami yung heat, dumadami yung reactant. Bakit nasa reactant yung heat? Kasi endothermic. Okay? So, kung tinaasan mo yung heat, dadami yung reactant. So, to the right yung reaction mo. Kasi ito yung marami. Pupunta sila doon. Some N2F2 gas, some N2F4 gas is removed. So, binawasan mo yung reactant. So, the direction of the reaction is to the left. Since nabawasan to, pupunta doon yung reaction to the left. Okay? Which I shown you in the earlier slides. Na? When pressure is decreased, meaning dumadami yung volume. And ano sabi ko? Kapag lumalaki yung volume, kapag bumababa yung pressure, you favor more moles of gases, no? Okay? So which one has more moles of gases? Is it the reactant or the product? Just simply look at their coefficient. In the reactant, you have 1 mole of gas. In the product, you have 2 mole of gas. So since pressure is decreased, you favor kung sino yung mas maraming mole of gases, which is the product side, no? Kasi siya yung maraming mole of gas. Catalyst is added, no effect. Okay? So again, pasensya na, medyo binilisan ko na. Ay, overtime na ako. So ayan, so basically that's everything na. Overtime na pala ako. So I will upload the answer to the last part of this PowerPoint na lang. Okay, so I'll upload it later this day. And that's it, no? So that's the entire chapter 3. Okay, I hope you learned something, especially sa algebra and sa calculation techniques. So I'll see you again next time. I will end the session agad na kasi overtime na ako. See you and ingat always. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir.
Bye-bye.
Thank you po.